Hello, you still haven't subscribed to our channel, Deadlight Dreams. Let me ask you, please subscribe. Your subscription is essential for helping our channel grow stronger and stronger. Go ahead, I'm waiting for your subscription. It was written by Mr. Benedito Luiz, 78 years old. You'll soon understand the reasons why those wandering souls began to appear. This letter is truly fascinating. So follow along with this story, The Haunted Coffee Plantation. I live with my wife in the countryside of Minas Gerais. It was here in Minas that I spent my childhood, adolescence, and young adult life. At the time, we were all young, between 19 and 21 years old. Never. At least not until that one night when strange things began to happen. Inside the property, there was a beautiful colonial-style house, but due to lack of care and residence, it looked abandoned. The only people living there were a man, his wife, and their 2 grown children. They lived in a small house for workers on the property and took care of the coffee crops all year round. The farm's actual owner lived in the city and only showed up when he needed to hire people for the harvest or to make payments. A robbery? We lived in a small, quiet neighborhood called Santa Cruz, with a few houses and scattered farms. Nervous, some got up and left. Within minutes, the bar was empty. Zalo locked up. Electricity was rare. By electricity, I mean actual electric light. Most houses used candles or oil lamps. Light poles were few and far between, just one here and another there, spread along the road. After getting married, we moved to São Paulo, where we lived for nearly 40 years. All we heard were the screams, nothing else. Everything seemed calmer. I was outside at a table with 3 of my friends. It was past 11 p.m. Then suddenly the screams returned. Now, both of us retired. We came back to our roots, to the interior of Minas. We wanted to see what it was. Zalo said he was going to close the bar. And at the very end of the road stood a chapel where Mass was rarely held, not due to lack of faithful, but due to lack of priests. There simply weren't many priests in the region. Right in the middle of the neighborhood, between the chapel, some froze, ready to run. A forgotten, remote place. And there they were, 4 hooded shadows carrying a coffin with one hand and a candle in the other. Walking slowly down the dirt road beside the coffee field, whispering and yelling. Others quickly left. And there they were, 4 hooded shadows carrying a coffin with one hand and a candle in the other. Walking slowly down the dirt road beside the coffee field, whispering and yelling. And the farm stood Zalo's bar, the meeting point for all the local youth. This story happened to me and a few neighborhood friends. Imagine that. Total darkness, only the glow from the bar's kerosene lamps. And suddenly, you see a coffin being carried by 4 hooded figures with candles. Keep it open. Others believed they were former coffee pickers who had perished in the fields. And a few swore they were the spirits of the old landowners. It didn't take long before the fear began to affect even the church. Others believed they were former coffee pickers who had perished in the fields. And a few swore they were the spirits of the old landowners. We need to know what this is. He agreed to come the following Sunday to say Mass at the chapel and bless the entire area. At the beginning of the neighborhood, there was a century-old farm with a huge coffee plantation that stretched alongside the road as far as the eye could see. When he was done, the neighborhood felt a little lighter. It was like the air itself had shifted. The neighborhood also had a little school for children. From Friday through Sunday, we'd gather there to have a few beers and play cards. We accompanied him. He stood in front of the old abandoned colonial house, looked at the coffee fields, and began to pray. And nobody had ever said the farm or the neighborhood was haunted. It was a Friday in June coffee harvest season. The neighborhood was livelier than usual, with workers from other areas staying in the farm's workers' houses. The noise came from the road near the plantation. Zalo's bar was packed. Some folks were playing cards, others were outside drinking and eating snacks. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was past 9 p.m. when we began to hear screaming from the direction of the farm. Somebody help! Somebody help! Somebody help! All the chatter and laughter at Zalo's bar stopped. Everyone went quiet to listen. What was that? Was it a fight? Somebody help! The screams were getting closer and closer. The doors were open. No candle wax. Not even footprints in the dust. Inside, there was nothing. Others believe the spirits simply moved on to another place. And there are those who swear that one day they'll return when justice is forgotten again. People started to feel uneasy. The next day, it was all anyone could talk about. But no one had seen anything. No one knew of a fight. That Saturday night, we met at the bar again. Somebody help! Somebody help! Everyone stood up, but me and my friends stayed. I told him, no, Zalo, the screams got closer and louder. And then, through the darkness, we saw them. 4 shadowy figures, carrying a coffin. Each one held a handle of the coffin, and in the other hand, a lit candle. Please subscribe to the channel. Until next time. It was terrifying. We were in the middle of nowhere, a forgotten, remote place. Somebody help! It was pure chaos. We were in the middle of nowhere. Somebody help! It was pure chaos. Everyone screamed, "Ghosts! Ghosts!" People ran, locking their doors, barring their windows, and fear settled over the entire neighborhood. The coffee pickers began to quit and leave. And what was once a peaceful village turned into a place of fear and unrest. People stopped going to Zalo's bar, and those who still went left early afraid of seeing the ghostly figures. And the less people went out at night, the more often the appearances returned. At this point, it wasn't just on weekends. Sometimes, even on weekdays, the shadows would appear again, carrying the coffin and their candles. Some of the more devout residents claimed it was the ghosts of slaves who had died on the plantation. Some of the more devout residents claimed it was the ghosts of slaves who had died on the plantation. A few days later, a group of locals went to the neighboring town and asked for help from a priest. That Sunday, the chapel was full. Many had never even attended Mass before, but now they showed up driven by fear. The priest arrived, prayed, gave communion, blessed the altar, and then asked if he could visit the farm. The priest said something that stayed with me. There's something trapped here, some pain, some injustice, something that was never laid to rest. Then he threw holy water on the ground and said the Lord's Prayer. For the next few days, the shadows didn't appear. The fear began to fade, but peace wouldn't last long. On the following Friday night, around the same time as before, we heard them again. Somebody help! People were already in bed, but this time it was different. The shadows didn't pass by like before. They stopped in front of the chapel. Those who peeked through the windows said they stood in silence for several minutes with the coffin resting on the ground. Then, slowly, they opened the chapel's old wooden doors and carried the coffin inside. The next morning, a group of us gathered, me, my friends, and a few elders. We waited until sunrise and went to the chapel. No coffin. Only the faint scent of something burning, like the final breath of a candle flame. After that, the shadows were never seen again. But no one forgot. To this day, when you mention the farm or that road, people lower their voices. Some say the priest's blessing helped the spirits find peace. As for me, I never saw them again. But every year, when June comes around and the coffee harvest begins, I still hear whispers in the wind, "Somebody help." Mr. Benedito Luiz, 78 years old, handwritten letter to the Paranormal Phenomena Research Center. Thanks for watching.